Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this does not work without you guys. So let's get open for business and let's wake up, my football gods. Wake up there. Guys, it's finally freaking Friday. It is the weekend. And man, this has been an off season like none other. We've had so much quarterback upheaval, where we've had teams talking about trading quarterbacks and wanting to get rid of quarterbacks and quarterbacks that want to be in charge. And if they can't be in charge, they want to go places. We've seen Carson Wentz finally people becoming rationale about realizing that Carson Wentz is not that good and that Dak Prescott is actually a pretty good quarterback. And even guys that you think would never leave a team, they're talking about leaving teams. Guys like Aaron Rodgers, when the season first ended, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, literally saying, I'm done. You can trade me for a ham sandwich. I don't care. I just want the hell out of here. I will not play for you. It's been crazy. And it's just been like day after day. Usually I come through in the morning, I do my Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboy video that I'm doing right now. And while I'm uploading, here comes some other news that breaks. It's just been crazy. So I'm not saying that I'm not enjoying it, because I am. I really am. It's going to help us get through this offseason a little quicker as we sit 63 days, 10 hours, 28 minutes, and 20 seconds away from the draft. In the meantime, a lot of business is being done right now. I know it doesn't seem like it. It's the off season, but see, this is where teams really become champions because of the decisions that are made right now, the planning stage. And what you have to plan for is who's going to stay and who's going to go. And one of the rumors out there from the Cowboys is that Jaylen Smith is not on the chopping block. Let me say again that Jaylen Smith is not on the chopping block. And if you were to ask Jaylen Smith, he would say, of course I'm not on the chopping block. Look at the film. People who watch film and understand football understand that I'm not the problem. I'm good. Well, quite frankly, you can't let everybody go. As much as we want to say, get rid of this guy, this guy, this guy. In fact, if Dallas Cowboy fans were in charge, we wouldn't be able to field the team, because literally everybody would go. Tyron Smith is too old. Lyle Collins, man, he's got bad hips. Dak Prescott stinks. Zeke Elliott overpaid. DeMarcus Lawrence, too much money. Literally, we wouldn't have a team. We wouldn't have a team. But the reality is you have a defense that was dismal last year. You have a secondary that you're looking at and saying we need a lot of help in. And a linebacking core that's not good, but you can't get rid of all your secondary, all your linebackers, and say we're just going to start all over. And what you hope for after what you spent in draft capital, as well as money-wise, you have to give him a chance in another system. He was never happy about the system that was in, said it was too complex. What you have to do as a coach is you have to understand some people are better at one thing or another. And it can't be that this is a system. If you can't do it, screw you. You have to find out what each individual does well and use that talent. And Jaylen Smith being a middle linebacker, I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy that should be calling out the defenses. I need to see him with his speed and things like that being a guy who chases people down. Put him on the backside. Figure out what he can do well and use him, because in the end, you can't change everybody in 1 year. And with the amount of money that you're paying for it, the amount of money that you save, it's really not enough to get somebody that's going to necessarily be a lot better. So this may end up being a wise move. Now, of course, in other news, here it is Friday. We're 4 days into that 14-day window of being able to franchise tag a quarterback. Thus far, we know that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott's people are talking. We don't know exactly how well it's going, but my assumption, and let me be clear, this is my assumption, that the negotiations are going well because we're not hearing about them. Everything we hear is from outside. You hear people, because there's key things that they'll say. I believe, I think. When they say that, that's not coming from the Dallas Cowboys. That's coming from a person who's got an agenda out there to basically get clicks. And so until I hear one side or the other out here saying bad things about the other, then I know it's going well. When it's quiet, it's all good. That's my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But until I see something differently, I think the negotiations are going well. Of course, there's the Dak tax, or what should be, as I call it, the Dak tax. That's where all these shows, all of these talking heads, hell, Dan Orlowski alone has made a name off of dissing Dak Prescott. And can somebody explain to me why Dan Orlowski, a guy who has 2 wins in professional football in 9 years versus 10 losses, a guy who literally ran out of bounds and didn't realize it in a game, out of the back of the end zone, who says the most stupid things in the world that make no sense. Why does he have a job? And why do people actually listen to Dan Orlowski? Because it's one thing to be an idiot. It's another thing to go through and literally lie about your numbers. Because when he comes through and says, well, with Dak Prescott, they were averaging 27 points. This year they're averaging 25 without him. That's a lie. That's a lie. That is a straight out lie, because what you're doing is you took the average of the team of all the points that they scored, divided by 16, and come up with 25, which is a true number for the Dallas Cowboys. But Dak only played in 5 of the games, less than a third. And in those 5 games, his average of 32.5 points a game skewed that average of 20 without him up to 25. So you're full of shit when you come up with that stuff. But, as we sit here and say, well, Dak doesn't deserve this, you know what? Dak deserves a whole hell of a lot, because he keeps y'all in business. It's the offseason, and you've got Dak Prescott talk 24/7. In fact, already this morning, surprised the Cowboys would prefer Dak over Russ? Let's go to the tape.
I mean, talent only takes you so far. I do believe that Russell Wilson is the better quarterback, but Dak is special as well. Dak is a dude that is getting better every single year. Before he went down, the dude was the offense was averaging almost 500 yards a game. They were spectacular. What was the issue? Ball security. And we know what our buddy Wilds always says. He just stole my slogan. Ball security is job security, yours and mine. And then on the defensive side, I mean, that was the worst defense that we've ever seen, and it cost Coach Nolan his job. So I think it's smart, Nick, that they doubled down, or they're talking about doubling down on Dak, because Dak is a dude that can win you a Super Bowl. But Amen. I do find it interesting that this is on the list. I do find it interesting that Russell Wilson's camp will potentially put that out there. So there's a lot to this story.
That's right.
But the Cowboys doubling down on Dak is good.
So, Brandon, I'm going to throw it back to you. As a wide receiver, of course, if you said you wanted to go to Tampa Bay, you want to play with Tom Brady, you're going to come out of retirement, I don't think any of the other wide receivers would feel some kind of way about it. It's like, oh, all right, more weapons, the better. We're good. I thought it was curious that Russ put the Cowboys on his list when he knows Dak is there. Because even when the 49ers kicked the tires on Brady, we were like, oh, how could you do that to Jimmy G? You don't believe in Jimmy G. Where this feels a little messed up. Like, I see putting the Saints on there, like, yeah, if Drew Brees leaves, I'd be a good fit down there. It's like in Jameis and Taysom Hill, that feels all right. But it almost feels, I don't want to say disrespectful, but I will say it felt curious that he put the Cowboys on his list out there publicly. Because if I was Dak, I'd be like, yo, what are you doing? That's my job, dude. I'm like, that's where I work. Did that hit your radar at all?
No. It did hit my radar, but you never know. You know, earlier on in the show, remember I said that the Chicago Bears, they looked into this. They've had conversations. There's been some inquiries. So when you think about the Dallas Cowboys situation, what is going on behind the scenes? I don't know. Do you know? Maybe. I don't know. Tell me. But when you see Russell Wilson and you see this situation, you know whose fault this is?
Jerry
This
Jones.
is the Dallas Cowboys' fault. This is Jerry Jones' fault because this deal was supposed to be done a year and a half ago.
Well, that's it.
And that's why you're in this situation. There you go.
Dak's not a member of the Dallas Cowboys. He's not. He's no more than me, Brandon, Wilds, Jenna.
Right.
I mean,
You're right on that.
they have the ability to
No more than me.
No, Wilds, it
He's
is.
not under contract.
For the moment, it is true. He is. They have the ability to franchise tag him. He is not under a long-term contract. And if I'm Russ, I'm thinking they can't come to a deal.
Yeah.
My deal. One of the things Russ has going for him is cost certainty. You know exactly what it costs to have Russell Wilson as your quarterback, which is why
Not for long.
I find of these 4 teams, like we can go through the list quickly again. The Saints, I do not believe it is possible with the cap. The Bears, I do not believe they have the assets to make it work. The Raiders, if you love Derek Carr, they do have the assets, but if you're mediocre on Derek Carr, ambivalent, then it doesn't work. The Cowboys, however, are in that Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. They have a quarterback that they have carved out $35 to $40 million of cap room for, but they can't come to an agreement with. That they seem to believe-ish in, but not fully. Because if you fully believed in him, they would have had this deal done a long time ago. For Russ's purposes, it's like, okay, they might not have the offensive line they had 2 years ago, but they've got an offensive line that's a hell of a lot better than anything I've ever dealt with. And they have as deep of a wide receiving core in the league. They are always a free agent destination. And if you're the Seahawks, you're like, you know what Dak Prescott isn't? High maintenance. And you know what we think maybe Russell Wilson is becoming? High maintenance. Dak's younger. He has been, prior to the ankle injury, just as durable. Great leader, great intangibles. We're not losing a ton in that area where Russ is one of the best. And because Russ is the better player, we could maybe say we'll listen if it's Dak and Zeke. And the Cowboys might say, well, that's a big price, but we did overpay for Zeke, and getting off that contract wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Lordy.
This,
Okay.
to me, Wilds, is the one trade where I'm like, oh, that could work. A trade based on Dak and Russ, pardon me, and then you work out the fine tuning of the edges could work, where the Cowboys get better right now, the Seahawks get younger, and they really fully even more further empower Pete Carroll to run his system. And I think the Seahawks are like, we can win a Super Bowl with Dak the same way we won one with a young Russ. So this one to me is very, very intriguing,
If you
and
get that number
something
one
that
defense
resonates
again.
as a real possibility.
Wow.
See, the possibility part of it to me is fascinating, because I would be shocked if it happened. If you take the fact, and it's a large fact, that they didn't get the deal done, everything that the Cowboys say and everything that Dak posts on social media with his cowboy hat, like, howdy, everybody, everything points to them getting the job done.
Right.
Jerry Jones is like, going forward
Yeah.
without Dak is like going forward without Stephen Jones. And even after the injury, they're like, he's still our guy. We're looking forward to doing the deal.
Ooh.
So to me, I would be shocked, especially they said all the right things, and we're in the golden age of alienating your
this has been
franchise
going on for
quarterback
3
between
years
Deshaun
now.
and Russ and everybody.
Yeah,
For
that's
3
right.
years now.
Man.
Here we go. Here we go, Jenna.
You know what it is, Jenna? Jenna, and I know you'll empathize with this from your younger years, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's your friend that's been engaged for 5 years.
Her birthday. Stop.
And it's like, when are you getting married?
100.
It's like okay, that's
Good
good. You got a
analogy.
lot of pictures on the gram.
haven't
You're
pulled
going
the
on
Good
vacation
analogy.
together.
You're not
Each
gonna
other.
pull the trigger.
When's the wedding?
Yeah.
When is the wedding?
never
The wedding
happening.
might never actually happen. It might not
Nick,
happen.
you said it. You're like,
Okay. When's the wedding is the big question. That's a good one. Okay, so now we have a new one. So this gets back to what I'm talking about. Listen, this is first thing this morning. First things first. It's the NFL offseason, and they're spending the first 10 minutes of the show. Of course, how about Dak and Zeke for Russell Wilson? Come on, man. This literally needs to be the Dak tax. If you're going to do segments on the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, you guys should put some money in the kitty. You just should. It gets to be crazy. All right, so we've had a little bit of fun this morning. It is Friday, got work to do and everything else. And as always, we're trying to go ahead and get this place together. I hope you guys are liking and noticing some of the changes that we're making. I'm actually reworking the whole man cave and making it more conducive for being a true broadcast studio. So tonight, because of support from all of you great fans, and I've got some more to add to the list, we'll be doing some more of the drawings tonight for some of the football racks. If you've done a super chat, if you've gone to my GoFundMe page and done a donation to that as well for the studio upgrades, you are entered into the drawings. We've already given away, I believe, 2 of the racks. We'll give away some more tonight. Probably give away another one over the weekend and things. And maybe we'll even give away some shot glasses and Joe Boo glasses as well as a thank you. If you do go to the GoFundMe and you do a donation of $10 or more, we're working on our new shot glasses. They're going to be full color. My man Brian De La Rosa is coming up with the style for it. We're going to be doing ones for the draft as well. So they'll be kind of like, if you've got a few and you want to make a collection, well, we can start getting your collection together. But if you do a donation of $10 or more, we will send you one of the shot glasses for free as a thank you. So as always, friends, you know, we'll see if some news breaks between now and me uploading this video. And if it does, you'll be sure to catch it right here first. I'm Mark Holmes, hoping you have a great Friday.